Okay, welcome, ladies and gents. We have Loey the Legend, 750 elo. In the red, we've got Berbers for Zozit, who, there you go, gonna make some houses. And then here in the blue, with a much faster, more standard start, we have the Beer Man playing as the Persians. Beer Man might describe many of the people out there watching me right now, depending on the time of day. Now, I love both of these civilizations for this map. And I've been loving 750 elo casts on this map because, well, people have figured out that they should dock. So, again, I can't take all the credit, and I don't want to come off the wrong way and say that if someone's docking at 750 elo, it's because they for sure watch my videos. I have no way of proving that. That's maybe a little conceited of me to assume. However, I have been casting Loey the Legends for over 2 years. I've been talking about docking. I've been talking about things to do. I'm seeing an idle villager lady. Psst, get to work. However, over the last 6 to 12 months, I have been seeing more and more people dock, and it makes me happy. So I've been talking about it a lot. Maybe they just walking on the side of the street, and they find a random note on the ground that says dock on 4 lakes. I'm not sure why, but we are having a lot of docking. So the reason I like Berbers is because, first off, who doesn't like some cheaper knights and camels? Always feels very healthy to make those units in Castle Age. But I love the faster villagers on this type of a map. If, and this is eventually what I hope we see the strategies progress to for all my Loey the Legends who are looking to improve. If docking is important, and yeah, let's go. No. Don't dock before lumber camp. Don't dock before lumber camp. Don't you dock before a lumber camp. Blue, I may have said that docking is important, but I have always preached good wood efficiency. Please. No. Don't. No. 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 Oh, he's had one too many beers. Okay. So the main thing, I got to finish my point on Berbers too. Oh, now all the wood's put into the houses. Okay. I'm going to talk about why this isn't great in just a second. But just to complete my thought on the whole Berbers thing. If the focus on this map is to dock and to take the fish, having a faster villager is really nice because you can just run forward, dock their pond, and then kill their fish with fire galleys. Okay. So let's, I genuinely went into this cast incorrectly assuming that both players were going to make a lumber camp and that both players were going to dock and spam fishing ships comfortably. So let's talk about what I was expecting to see and what I would hope to see and why that's not the play, okay? Now, docking's correct because the idea is to produce fishing ships out of your dock and then also villagers out of your TC, and then you can get a big economic lead. Problem with the order in which Blue has done things is, now the dock is up, the wood efficiency is awful, and you have to decide on, do you make fishing ships or do you make a lumber camp? And Blue has even spent 100 wood on the lumber camp and still refuses to build it. Is Blue going to chop all the trees before doing this? I know some people are like that. They're like, listen, those straggler trees are in the way. All right, they don't look good. They're big. They're bulky. It's free wood, T90. I'm going to take it. And listen, straggler trees are good. They're good. You can use them from time to time, but oh, geez, the wood efficiency's killing me. Blue, please build that. Please. Blue, build the... I swear to God, I love you guys. You know I do. But this, I can't... Oh, God. Okay, scout for red. This could be bad for red. I think red will make it out of here. Okay, red does. Blue. I can't... Do people do this to bother me? Like, you could have 70,000 fishing ships if you just would have made the lumber camp. Build a lumber camp! Thank you. Okay, sorry. I'm over it. I'm so sorry. And I know they're trying their best out there, right? They're trying their best out there. I just wish they'd try their best with the lumber camp. Okay. All right. We're back in business. Red has now decided it's a good time to make a lumber camp. But let me talk about the general order of things. For those of you out there who are like, hey, T90, I don't know what you're talking about, this whole dock thing, okay? So you can start off as you normally would. 6, 7 on food, whatever. 6, 7 on food's good. And send 4 villagers to wood. Now, realistically, if you're spending things all the time, you probably want to have 5. Most listeners are not going to have perfect execution with this. So let's say 4 to 5 on wood. And then instead of making a mill, okay, you make a dock. And then from then on, you bring in your boars, you do everything else, you skip the mill till later, right? You can just make fishing ships all the time. So you go to your TC, make some villies, dock, make fishing ships. So blue is doing the right thing now. But if blue would have done this earlier, oh my goodness, blue would be killing it. And blue is killing it. The beer man is killing it, but would be even better. So I don't think red knows how important fishing is and how much food that can bring in. So red is someone who probably plays other maps, like maybe plays Arabia or Arena, right? But clearly, Beer Man, who maybe has had one too many beers, is aware of how strong fishing can be. So credit to Beer Man. I know the wood thing made me scream, but I think we're okay. I don't think any of my neighbors, if they heard that, are going to complain or call the cops or something. I don't think they'll get worried. Okay, so good job from Beer Man. Good recovery. Beer Man did find the enemy is here. Now, something I've seen a lot in low elo guys is like in their mind, mill is always something you prioritize. But then they've already milled and then they're going to dock now. Like a very common thing is after they've done everything they've already normally done, they will then dock. What? What? Zozet is going to use the faster moving Berber villagers. Is Zozet going to use the faster moving Berber villagers to dock? Nope. To sneak? Not exactly. But to take the gold that is along the shoreline in the north of the map. Fascinating choice. Here comes Beer Man. Many people out there might be like, man, Beer Man's aggressive. Nope, I think this is Auto Scout. And now Beer Man is sending a villager to the north. And Beer Man, I don't think has scouted the gold, but that's an interesting coincidence. Aha! Beer Man came prepared, people. Beer Man came prepared. Wants to dock over here, I believe. So these fishing ships, you make them, guys, and they just work for you constantly. Just bringing in all that food. 1,000 plus food, just constant. I think it's like 3,000 food in this pond. And then you can add more. Meanwhile, at home, Beer Man made a blacksmith, not bad. Making some houses, not bad. And here comes Red, walking all the way over here for gold. And did I call it is now going to dock. So Red's like, oh, you know what? I think I could take fish out there. But just didn't know going into this, you know? Wasn't completely aware of what to do. Now, what's good for Red is the eco balance is all pretty much perfect to go Castle Age, except for gold. I might have an idea as to why Red doesn't have the gold required to go Castle Age. And Blue actually spotted that mining camp and the villagers with this villager. And is going to add a dock. I will say this. Red's probably going with what someone in my chat just said. You can't raid my gold if you can't find my gold. With all that said, super unfortunate for Red that Blue somehow stumbled upon that. Like, that was really lucky. All right, so I think going for 3 ponds at this stage is fine. I would say that I would suggest to maybe make your stable first. Or, yeah, whatever building you want just so you can go Castle Age. Because you're going to have the food income. But great job from Blue. And the other thing is, guys, like, this is hard. Diversifying your economy is not easy. But the only way you're really going to be able to do something is if you practice it, right? And that's exactly what Blue's doing here. Now, Blue scouted this, but did Blue see it? Will Blue react to it? We'll just have to see. You know, I think scouting as a whole has kind of been an issue for Red. Red Scout's just going to sit here now. But maybe red saw blue's dock and said, maybe I should do that. There goes the weak scout. Andre in chat says, has anyone not been able to add a market in feudal recently? Question mark. Andre, you need to make a mill before you make a market, my friend. I'm going to guess that you didn't know that. And yes, it is a little confusing. No need to be embarrassed. We've all been there. But yeah, that's probably it. Okay, so now red is going to get supplies. Red is going to get the wood upgrade and send the weak scout to the north. Now, I don't know if red... Okay, maybe red just wants to scout the rest of the map. I was going to say, it was almost like red wanted to check up there. Okay. Supplies, I've called noob bait for many years. I don't see any strong reason why supplies was researched there. Don't really get it. It does make your militia line cheaper, but there's no militia line coming out. I say that it probably has to do with the fact there's apples there. And we're going to have spearmen. Yeah, it just looks good. Spearmen coming out now. It's a little concerning too, right? Because Berbers have really good knights, so you'd want to see an offensive choice usually. But I think red wants... Yeah, red wants a TC right between these resources. Juicy, juicy, juicy. Also, red, you do need to make some houses, my friend. Okay, gonna make some houses now. Blue, on the way to the next stage. Blue has 13 fishing ships. And the only thing that's been confusing to me about blue is blue hates gold. I don't know why blue hates gold. Maybe blue's villager tripped over a gold mine once and stubbed his toe. But if you had golds on top of all this food income, you could just spam knights endlessly and probably kill your opponent. We're going to look now at the resources brought in. You can see red. It's a lot more food right now. Not a lot, just 200 more food. But that is going to change, guys. Because red's going to be relying on just farms. Red doesn't have any fish. The big thing is blue is able to afford... Like, blue doesn't have to spend as much wood because farms aren't reseeding all the time. Because we also have spearmen from Beerman. Okay, something you could research if you really want to is gill nets right now. Gill nets leads to even more efficient fishing. I do love the idea of mixing in the farms, though, at this stage. Okay, so we have 4 stables. Blue currently has the gold to make 1 knight. Oh, and blue realizes it. Good job. Good adjustment. Blue's going to make a town center here. Good adjustment from blue. Also, the scout's been confusing me. I don't think this is auto scout, guys. I think he sets waypoints for his scout into his enemy's base, and then it like comes back to his base. Because normally auto scout focuses the corners. Is it going to die? Okay, it's running now. Let's see where it stops. I swear he's been sending that in manually. Yeah, see? That's actually really smart. Good practice. And blue's like, I know what we need. We need another stable we can't make anything out of. Well, he's prepping for later. I love it. I love it, though. Just a massive line of stables. The spearmen. And those numbers always going to take care of knights with few upgrades. Now, this is where it gets super tricky to be against Berbers, guys. Because the Berber player has been pumping out vills out of 2 TCs. But a lot of stone is coming in. And so you look at Persians and you think, okay, stone, castle, great. What do we do? Elephants? Nope, not really. It's not really something that's competitive in 1v1s. It's mainly competitive when you used to play against your younger brother back in the dial-up days. But 1v1's too expensive, usually. So I'd love to see it. Man-at-Arms research? I think Zozet's thinking I need something that counters pikemen. Zozet, I think, lacking the experience to know a castle would lead to camel archers. And camel archer is devastating. And camel archer is realistic. And camel archer, one of my favorite unique units in the entire game. But that would be the next answer for me if I was Berbers right now. And I saw spearmen, I would want to go camel archer. Let's look at the resources brought in now. I'm very curious. Okay, you can see Beerman has surpassed in wood and food. Pretty even with the gold there, and he's slightly ahead with the stone. Keep in mind, these fishing ships continue to work for you. You don't really have to pay attention to it too much. And so what that does is, that means you have more wood for other things. 1890, don't know if you saw my previous comment, but the next map pool is Arabia, Arena, Hideout, Islands, Mega Random, African Clearing, and Runestones. Oof, not a fan. Well, Mega Random is back for 1v1s. That could be pretty good, especially for level casting. One villager castle. Also, very interesting how Blue saw this. Like, I guess players struggle to look at their mini-map, right? Even I struggle to look at my mini-map as much as I should. I'm just gonna sit here. Okay. Sergio says, is it wrong to want to keep my fishing ship count low so I don't have to fish trap later? 4 to 6 per pond. I think the point in which fishing really, really helps you, it always helps you the most in Dark Age and Feudal, right? Because you have fewer eco units at that time. I think 4 to 6 is a little low. Like, I'd prefer to tell you to go to 8. But I understand. I understand what you mean. Like, he added 7 here, right? And he's working his way through his pond already. I always suggest anywhere like 6 to 12 per pond or 8 to 12 per pond. So yeah, I think that's fine. At this stage, I'd suggest switching into farms as is, right? So look at the army here from Red. Now, I'm not getting any vibes that Red really knows what all these units do. Because Red's gone Pikeman, and this is a civ that doesn't get Halberdier. While this is a civ that's anti-cav, it's not through the Pikemen. It's through their cheap camels and then the camel archers. But we've got Genitor, which is a mounted skirm unique to the Berbers. You don't see them very much. And Pikemen, and then a few knights. God, Blue. Oh my god. Oh, they all have stone in their hands. Oh, God. Calculated. Calculated, baby. Oh, my God. That is like the luckiest and the unluckiest thing I've ever seen in my life. Blue actually made military to take the hill. Blue actually sent the proper amount of villagers. Now, Blue, you did have, prior to placing this castle, a lot of stone. You still do have a lot of stone. But I think you could have moved forward a little faster there. But you can't judge the one villager castle if it works, I guess. Holy crap, that was crazy. What's Red's plan here? Imp? Honestly, it should be a race to Imp for Blue. It should be a race to Imp for Blue. There's a forward castle on you. You're flirting with the resources to go Imp. You should go up. At all, Red's in trouble. Because Red had the resources as well. And Red's like, what are we going to do? We're going to make a bunch of pikemen. Spend all of our food. And place another one villager castle. Because it worked the first time. So, you know, why not give it a shot a second time? So, I want to talk about a general rule of thumb when it comes to castles that are forward, okay? You want a forward castle to deny a resource, okay? And if it is not to deny a resource, it is always to gain a position before going imp, okay? I'm going to repeat that. With a forward castle, which I would consider this forward, okay? It is either to immediately deny a resource, generally, hopefully, which they're on, or to get a good position before going imp. And I'm going to tell you why that is, and we're about to see why that is. Because if you place a castle like this, and it doesn't immediately set them back, and it doesn't soon give you opportunity to get a solid push, you might end up in Red's very position, where you just sit there, and then your castle's a sitting duck. I mean, he's denying pop space with that house he's shooting. True! He is denying pop space, but for how long? For how long? So great reaction here from Blue. Great reaction here from Blue. And hey, Red's going to make some fire galleys here. Okay. It's so funny to me. Red's actually going to complete this castle. But now you've got two castles that don't immediately deny a resource. And I guess what Red saw there was red saw camels and thought, I need pikemen because he might come forward with rams or something, right? And in all fairness to red, red didn't see this castle going up. But I think red is going to really be hurting here in a bit. Cav archers here. Okay, so Persian cav archers are not the greatest. Because Persians don't get... they do not get bracer. Also, I would normally suggest thinking against cav archers against Berbers, because Berber camel archer is really good against that. But I guess he's thinking I need an answer to pikemen, so I don't hate it. It's tough for Berbers, for Persians to know what to do against pikeman line, because they also don't get champion. Okay, finally, blue waited a bit, is now going to make trebs, and a lot of them. And here comes red. Red knows about the castle now. Again, same thing, though. You've got double castle on either side of the enemy. A good raid here from red. I think my immediate go-to would be, let's go up to imp and then surround them with siege. To be fair, though, castle spots and then treb timing is something that's so difficult and takes a lot of experience. That's why I'm talking about it, because I think it will help some of you guys. The amount of times I would place castles and they'd get trebbed back, or the amount of times I'd place castles and they get rammed back or something, over the past 7 or 8 years, it's just been crazy high. Whoa, look at this. Red's even repairing. Look at that. I mean, both of these players could also get their water upgrades, potentially. Okay, so if blue ends up... So here's the other thing. Blue doesn't want to use his trebs right now. So blue, first off, you could have more than one castle. You could have 4, right? So that would have meant you'd have these trebs already. I say don't trickle treb a lot. I think Beerman is someone who maybe watches my content. Trickle trebbing normally is in reference to situations where you're sending out trebs when you don't have protection and you don't have a defensive castle. That makes sense? So we'll see how many blue waits for. I still think blue's going to be fine. But, like, it's a good thing for you, blue, if he wants to send all of his army underneath your castle right now. Right? That's a good thing. You've got army waiting, and you've got castle fire. So that's not bad. Now, guys, I have no clue what unit red wants to make beyond pikemen here. I mean, we're seeing cav archers, but there aren't any upgrades on those. Like, blue's gone for some insane blacksmith upgrades. And I think blue is just going to, you know, eventually... eventually pop out with these trebs and take down these castles. Taking do not trickle treb a little too seriously here. The sweet spot is always 4. That's what I always say, right? So maybe he's waiting for 8 because he wants 4 for each castle or something. Blue, come on, beer man. What are you waiting for? He's like, well, 4 trebs is a surprise. Imagine what 8 trebs would be. Hey, here we go. He showed him. I mean, it's still fine. Blue's had plenty of time. Okay, there are the trebs. Firing uphill. We'll take 3 volleys, I think. More trebs will then be on the way. See, red's now going to make trebs, and then you lose the treb war here. Badly. This all comes down to not the castle, but the castle positioning and then spending 700 food on pikemen. Whoa, okay, this has been found. Sneaky stable. Okay. So this is where it... Oh, God, red is so dead. Guys, red is omega housed. Red's got so many trebs, or blue's got so many trebs he doesn't know what to do with it. But right now, when the timing is most crucial, our red player is pop blocked and is going to lose another castle, which is going to mean even more pop blocked. And then I think we're just going to see blue move out. And red can only fight with what is here right now. Poof. Look how bad it is. Oh, that's really... It's another reason you don't want to make forward castles, I guess. Or at least make houses as well. Great job from blue, though. Blue's getting a lot of relevant upgrades here. Has almost every blacksmith upgrade for the camels. They're about to be heavy camels. has almost every upgrade that is relevant to the Cav Archers. Granted, you know, his Civ does lack some. But Red's forward castle didn't deny a resource. It did. I think Red built it to protect. But it should have been, I think, further away from Blue if that was the case. Invited a lot of pressure. That's a lot of military for Red. And pikemen against camel should be pretty good. I don't know why Blue's trebs... Maybe this is why Blue makes so many trebs, because sometimes you forget them. This is a good fight for Red. Okay, trebs are still back here for Blue. There's still 4 inside the castle, but it's going to get worse for Red now, because the Cav Archers are strong. Both players have resources. It's just moments like these, it's all about execution, right? I would suggest never play with Berbers if you're Red. I would say pick Celts or Goths or some Civ that likes to spam pikes, but... Pikeman is a deceiving unit for learning players because they think it counters Cav, and they think I should make it with every Civ. Like, clearly this is a player that doesn't know to me that Camel Archers are strong. This is a player who doesn't know that cheap Knights, cheap Camels is a thing. So maybe learning Berbers right now. Now, a Persian player could research Commanderon, which would mean you could make crossbows that only cost wood, which would certainly help with 3k wood. Blue is going to run over here, make a new TC on stone and wood. Oh, man, Blue, you're giving him so much time. You're giving the enemy so much time. You're giving Red time to remember that blacksmith upgrades are really strong. Where's that blacksmith? It's right next to a barracks. Oh, you're in trouble. If it's right next to a barracks, Red loves that barracks. So Red's definitely going to see that. It's like Blue had it? Like, remember, Blue's had 5 stables for how long? Not seeing a ton of production. You got Knights, you got some CA. They're heavy CA. There's only 4 of them. You've got 32 pikes. And numbers do matter here, guys. Numbers do really matter. Speaking of numbers, we're going to have Blue making more Cav Archers. Really struggling to have gold right now. And we have Elite Genitor now coming in. Now, Elite Genitor, guys, is actually one of the best units in the composition for Red right now. I'm trying to see how many he's got. He's got, God, Red's got everything. All I see is horse butts. Knight, Cav Archer. Oh, it's a camel. Sorry, camel butt. Yeah, okay, we've got, I can't even click it. I think that's a Genitor, yeah. All right, so if they're upgraded, Genitors are really strong here. Because they're good against the, they're a mounted skirm. Heated shot! Heated shot is not chemistry! Oh, no. The common confusion. And, you know, I'm to blame for that because I haven't made a video talking about that yet. Everyone at one point thought that heated shot was chemistry. They're very different things. So let's review. Heated shot does not make your trebs have fiery balls. It does not make your shots faster from Cav Archers or any ranged unit. Heated shot increases the amount of damage that your towers and castles do against ships. It is true, there is water on this map. And oh my goodness, Beerman is making another classic mistake in Lel and has clicked the trebs in panic. The player who has had 8 trebs and had the initiative has given time to the enemy to get initiative and is now going to lose. Oh boy. What is this? And credit to Red. Red was given the time, and Red said thank you, and ran away with it. Didn't trickle Treb. Showed up with 5 Trebs. Blue had to react immediately, and Blue made big mistakes. I'd like to see Red actually take out the castle instead of the enemy Trebs, but still. Also, Red's got, I mean, it's only out of 1 range, but Red is producing, or 2 ranged Genitors. Whereas you look at Blue, you've got 6 Camels queued. You've got 4 Pikemen queued. Just for a player who has all this production, it wasn't really there for Blue. Guys, Blue does not have these Trebuchets out to even defend. This is... Oh, man, Beerman had it! I feel like, and I get a lot of submissions where people are like, coach me, tell me what I could have done differently. I feel like Blue's thinking that right now. Like, man, Berbers are so OP. What could I have done differently? Now, Blue, you did have this gold once, right? And you just completely forgot about it, right? You're not stopping that. There was a point in time where you could have put your foot on the gas, and there was a lot of sitting back. I don't know what it was. Maybe it was this castle. Maybe you had to get another beer from the fridge. But this army from Red is largely unupgraded. But what do I say about sending in 4 to 5 trebs? Forces them to react to your trebs. They'll oftentimes make mistakes. And clicking the trebs is a very common thing you see when players panic. I like this from Blue because I don't see how Blue will win otherwise. Raid. Just do something that'll keep Red from pushing further. I like it. I don't think it'll work, though. I think it's been tracked. I think it's been seen. Should get dealt with now. I'm so pissed with Blue for that. Now I want Red to win. Well, I think we've all felt like, oh, we're fine. Let's just wait. And in waiting, we've given our opponents time. I think we've all made those mistakes once or twice. It's really obvious when you sit back as a caster and watch it. It's not as obvious when you're in the game, right? He can't see what Red's doing. Like, Red has elite Genitors, but they have no blacksmith upgrades. It's not like this army is particularly strong, but there's a lot of them out of just 2 or 3 ranges, which took a lot of time. Beer Man has 2,600 stone. The trebs continue to roll forward. And now, if you're Red, if you really want to put the final nail in the coffin, you run forward and you drop a castle next to all this. For your trebs to fight under. Also, does anyone know why Blue made camels? I feel like we should be talking about that more. Does anyone... What did Blue see that said, I need to make camels? Was it just a knight, maybe? A knight or two? The thing that's tricky about camels, guys, is yes, they are a counter to knights, but they cost gold. Unlike pikemen, right? So they're a mobile counter. The problem with the camel, though, is that they are worse against everything else. They are worse against melee units, like champions. They're worse against halbs. They're worse against archers. So it's almost best, like, let's say you want to counter your opponent's got knights, right? And your Persians. To make Cavalier, which is so much better against pikes. Like, honestly, if you would have had Cavalier with these upgrades, I think you would have actually cleared up the fight by now. So make Cavalier, and then you could mix in halbs. You could mix in your own little pointy boys. Oh, man. Not even about the resources now. It's about the time. It's about your focus being split. It's about being frustrated. Blue is going to make a castle over here. Blue's not finished. Blue wants to take this gold and drop stables over there. Here comes Red with more trebs, but now Red doesn't have protection for the trebs, so this is a little awkward. Oh boy. This is, guys, Red is trying to counter the throw with the throw. I don't know if you guys have ever seen the counter throw strategy before, but it is a strategy you see a lot at LEL. It's just not talked about as much. It's hard to keep up with it. You guys have probably been there where you're like, oh, this is going good. And then you forgot. Oh yeah, I gotta produce more units. Forgot about that. And he produces more units. Now again, as the... something that's in defense of Beerman here is that one of the better units you could have ever made against just straight pikeman spam, or virtually just straight pikeman spam, is Champion. Persians don't even get longsword. Or sorry, they don't even get two-handed swordsman. The Persians just aren't really good against that. But yeah, it's a numbers thing now. And Beerman is completely overwhelmed. The only way Beerman wins this game is if Red doesn't go for the kill here. And Red at least has trebs. So it's slow, but I guess it's going to take some time yet. Well, if Red's like me, Red has a rhythm. So for me, this is my late game rhythm. Add more villagers. Make more military. Control military. And then make more villagers. Add more military. Control military. For Red, what Red needs to probably do, and it's 750 elo, right? Is maybe add more ranges. Maybe add more production buildings. But if you think about the difference in production buildings, blue had more buildings than red. It's just that red consistently produced. So I'm not gonna speak too harshly about red, because red's producing all the time from these buildings and sending them forward here. The best units Persians could probably make against hand cannons, the best cost-effective unit is the crossbow after Commanderon. Because then your crossbows do not cost gold. So one of the best comps for Persians is just tons of crossbows with Cavalier. But you also could say hand cannons. As we are going to see a castle drop right in the middle of the farms. Right in the middle of where blue's base used to be. As blue is going to run away here. Guys. As much as many of you guys, you know, you heard me talk earlier about not wasting people's time. I also feel like this is possible. Like, these will be fully upgraded light cav, okay. What do you think Red's reaction is going to be when 50 light calves show up to his base? Which is wide open, by the way, and not fortified with any castles. I think blue should go soon, but I think Red's reaction is to run away with all these pikemen, to leave this area, and to go save himself. And so what you can do in theory with that time, if you're blue, is you can add more eco and maybe come back here. This is not over yet. Like, both players, I mean, it's just maybe this 750 elo speaking for you, but both players a little slow with finishing off the opponent or pushing when they have an advantage. Okay. The problem is the longer you wait here, the worse it gets for you, blue. The sooner you move into your opponent's base, the better this is for you, because it'll get him away from you. Also, really hurts to see blue will lose these 2 relics. Also, with red making pikemen that barely have any upgrades, and not making anything that's really that dominant against trash bow. Elephants! He's waiting for elephants! The beer man waiting for elephants. Oh, jeez. You know, it might be a bad time to tell this story, but did I ever tell you guys that I was a beer man? I've told this many times. So what I did was like literally the week I turned 18 is I sold beer at sporting events. So it'd be like, ice cold beer here. You know, I'd run up and down the stands and scream ice cold beer. It was a fun job, man. It was a fun job. It was also kind of gross because you'd just be covered in beer for hours. But when I was 18 to like 21, I did that. I actually did that while I was streaming too, because I remember what my initial goal was when I wanted to go full time, because I wasn't sure if streaming and YouTube could really pay the bills. Was I was going to go full time, and then I was going to vend if I had to on top of everything else. And then I remember, you know, the viewership started to pick up, and I was like, yeah, I'm not driving 3 hours to go get sticky and sell beer anymore. No, I didn't stream it. Sorry, that was like when I was streaming. Blue, you need to go in, buddy. Like, if you would have run in already, like, what blue is thinking is, I need to raid my enemy to the point where he's dead. Instead of thinking, I need to raid my enemy to get a bit of a lead back in this, to come back and distract him. And so this whole strategy is not going to work. What would work is a raid which can cripple red and distract red, which can allow you to do other things, but you are not going to be able to do a one-and-done attack here for victory. There's just no way. Which is, I guess, what blue is hoping for. Where did you serve beer? So I did a lot of stuff in Baltimore and Philadelphia. So I did Eagles games in Philadelphia. I did Union games, which is their soccer team. I never got, like, apparently, like, is a really, like, the Phillies games, the baseball games, was really hard to get into. I would have had to have sold hot dogs for, like, 2 years before ever getting to sell alcohol, which is... The thing about selling alcohol is it's all about the tips, you know? So I was like, yeah, I'm not selling hot dogs in the summer for years. No, thank you. And then I was able to do some hockey games as well. But usually it was just NFL. That was the big thing. And then concerts here or there. Beer Man is honestly like, is he frustrating anyone else here? If he doesn't have faith in himself, that's the problem. He's like, maybe he's a sad beer man. He's like, I had 8 trebs earlier. T90 said don't trickle treb, and I'm still losing. And so I think a lot of this from Blue is just like not confident at all, which is sad. You want beer man to be confident, as Red knew about one of the castles, but not this castle, and is about to lose the trebs. And hey, wouldn't you know it? Here comes Red. Red sees the army of hussars and is now sending everything back in a panic. Whoa. Wait a sec. What? No way. Okay, so here comes Red. Now, what I was thinking was like, this would have happened earlier. You still have this area your base. Even if it was just like 5 hussars, you distract the opposition. So this is something we all can learn from, I think, right? I say it a lot. If you don't want your opponent to be somewhere, send an army to their base, and sometimes they'll overreact. They have 2 choices. They can overreact or underreact. Very rarely are you going to be able to have the perfect amount of population in the right spot all the time. There is 1 treb here, which should be easy snipe. Blue just continuing to run around with his hussars. And Red just continues to chase, further proving my point. So if you ever fall behind, just send a couple armies to their base. Just sneaky ones. He doesn't seem to really have a lot of... he doesn't want to spread them out. Like, these guys are... they went through all the training together to become hussars. They went through scout school together, light cav school, and now they're hussars, you know? So they don't want to... they don't want to leave each other. But Red is chased. Look at this. Red is rang the bell. His eco completely stops working. Like, Red has just proven my point here. Now, if Blue... Okay, this is also really good from Red. I full props to Red. I didn't realize he had an army to protect the trebs. Well done. Blue has the eco lead now, though. Blue has the eco lead. Granted, Red's sitting on tons of resources. Blue can run right back to Red's base if he wants to. This is a problem, though. This is so good from Red. And this is actually a good tip. So some of you guys might be like, wow, seems really strong. What if someone's distracting me? What do I do? Well, you want to have your main push protected somewhat. Now, guys, the first time you saw the Hussar raid, you were probably moderately impressed. But have you ever seen... the War Elephant Raid! Yeah, let's go! Chonkers! These things are... they're thick with 2 Cs. Meanwhile, Blue is going to take a very good fight here and win this fight as Red continues to progress in. And let's see if Beer Man can do it. Let's see how Red reacts, actually. This is... This is so comical, man. This is so comical. Where is he going right now? Okay, here comes Red. Red's certainly going to have the time to react. We know that. Charge. Or should it be charge? Okay, well, I think he clicked the town center, which is really bad. And that's a lot of pikemen. They do have bonus damage, and the elephants all die. Full credit to Red again, though, for continuing to protect his push. And Beer Man, excuse me, is going to call it. And honestly, a really good game. I think that had its frustrating moments. And I also would consider that super winnable even from this position for Beer Man if you were to add a couple archery ranges. But I think it had its frustrating moments for some of us, you know, like it hurts to see players get into a leading position and then lose it. But I think a lot of lessons learned. But for Red, you know, I think you learned lessons with those castles, right? I think hopefully you will think a little more about the castles. And then if for Blue, I think it was just production, honestly. Like, lack of golds definitely seemed to be an issue, but production. Dude, 8 trebs. I mean, the production of trebs was more than the production of other things, and you had red pop locked. Remember, red was pop locked. Red was on the back foot. Red still at this point doesn't have fletching. It feels like just with numbers, it could have been pushed there. Or maybe there's, instead of cav archers, which cost a lot of gold, maybe the trash bows after Commander Run would have been a good play. Now, think about this, guys. Red was the main unit for red, and you can see it here, was pikemen, okay? So, let's say blue splits up his hussars a little bit and sends it into red's eco. At that time, if he has Commander on and just makes a couple ranges, look at this wood. You just you get ready for another mass, which he has here. You make some crossbows, and then this is nothing, right? The crossbows show up, and then you take them out. You take the pikemen out with your crossbows, and then the hussars can take the trebs, and then suddenly you're like kind of in the game. Unfortunately, like that's easy for us to say. Just add more buildings. Just go for complete tech switch. Just control 2 armies at once. That's difficult. Everything I said is difficult, and I acknowledge that. Okay, guys, I just realized something. And I need you, before you hear me say this, I need you to be as creative as possible with me, okay? Do you see a face on the minimap? Like a weird monster or some deformed person. Do you see a face on the minimap? Again, this is a bit of a stretch. I need you to be creative with me here. Think about it. I see it right here. You said in Blue's Ruins? That wasn't what I was talking about. Look, you've got eyeball. We're going to call that a nose. You've got a mouth. You've got a chin. God knows what this is. This is the mouth opening, actually. No, not really. Okay, you've got an angry eyebrow. Look at that. One eyebrow. Angry. And then I guess these are pimples or something. That I don't know what those are exactly, but I kind of see a face. The castle's the mouth? No. This is definitely the mouth. 1990s on drugs. You don't see that? Kind of? I guess if you look at this, you don't. But on the minimap, not even a little bit? Genuine Picasso right there. Show the eyes again. Yes, I love the fact that you're committed. These are the eyes. The 2 camel archers are the eyes. It's not a perfect face. It's like someone's face got put in a blender. It kind of looks like a monster, you know? Also, Tom in chat, he says, I'm the beer man. Oh, is that you? Well, because I saw a couple comments from you. I hope that some of those tips help. I feel like both players there made some equal mistakes, and both of those things can be how you lose some games at times.